Today's video is made possible by Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is your one-stop shop to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. So what's going on, guys, and welcome back to a brand new Buzzfeed test. Rather than putting this week's poll on my Instagram story, I decided to hook up my Patreon peeps and leave the poll over there. Now, out of the 4 options I gave them, they chose the homemade Dunkaroos. If you want to be a part of the next Patreon poll and get access to a bunch of different perks, like your name at the end credits of the video, go down in the description or just type in this link and go check out my Patreon for me. Have I reached peak selloutness? I feel like I have. Listen, I got bills now, guys. Things are different these days. They're much more difficult. Anyways, let's get back on track. So the homemade Dunkaroos, this was a video that was made quite a while ago. It was always on my radar to do. Shout out to my friend Cassidy for recently telling me to put this on a poll. Admittedly, I wasn't a huge fan of Dunkaroos as a kid. I definitely did eat them, so maybe this will be a nice shot of nostalgia if it comes out good. So let's get right into it. So obviously, with this recipe, the 2 main components are the graham cookies and the dunkable frosting. And right off the bat, we have 2 issues that I'm gonna have to face head on. Number 1, graham flour. I've never heard of this. I've never seen it in any stores, so to save myself a headache, I'm gonna order it on Amazon. Number 2, and this might be more challenging, those containers. Initially, my thought was just to buy some online, maybe from overseas or from 20 years ago, and they are nowhere to be found. In the video, the Tasty producers use a 3D printer for this. I do not have access to such luxuries. Major shoutouts to my dad for coming through with the idea of just buying one of those old pretzel stick or Ritz cracker snack packs and using that. It's similar enough. We're gonna have to take some time to empty these, maybe even try some, and I don't remember them tasting this strange or having this oily residue on top of the cheese. Okay, we're way off topic here. Let's just grab some ingredients. Some all-purpose flour and graham flour, baking soda, baking powder, vanilla extract, molasses, some shortening, vanilla sprinkles and milk, powdered sugar, brown sugar, butter, and cinnamon. Besides the graham flour, nothing too crazy. So let's start up with the cookie dough base, which is a combination of 6 or 7 different ingredients. Make sure your butter is either room temperature or even a little firmer, because we're gonna add in some liquid at the end, so it's okay if it's a little bit crumbly like a pie dough. Don't be afraid to get in there with your hand and mix it around. Your clean hand, by the way, based on some of the messages I get. Some of you might not have the cleanest. Why? Disclaimer, this calls for a cup of milk and a tablespoon of molasses. I used, no joke, less than 2 tablespoons before this seemed to be way too wet. I had to add a little bit more flour to kind of bind this back together and make it rollable. But once it was looking like a ball of wet sand, I wrapped it up and threw it in the fridge while I worked on the frosting. This is gonna gross some of you out, as it did for me. This frosting comprises of vegetable shortening and powdered sugar. That's pretty much it. And of course, a drizzle of vanilla and some sprinkles at the end, but the majority of this is just straight up shortening. It's kind of gross. I also added a little bit more sugar than the recipe called for. I remember Brenda saying that it was not nearly sweet enough. But this was looking pretty good and reminded me of the old school version, so I just threw a bit in a piping bag for now and set it aside while I finished up with my cookies. I rolled a little bit of dough out at a time, and with this random cap that just appeared, it's not mine, not sure where it came from, I punched out what I think are gonna be perfectly sized circles. Also, disclaimer, I went through this video multiple times. There is not a single mention of the oven temperature or the baking time, so I'm just gonna give it a guess. I'm gonna guess 375 for somewhere between 6 to 8 minutes. Now, surprisingly, these actually cooked pretty well. They smell really good too with that cinnamon in there. I do think they expanded a bit, so I'm gonna find an even smaller cap. Again, this is not mine. And punch out a bunch more It is finally time to throw our two components together in our Ritz cracker container. And with some extra sprinkles, this is looking really good. Honestly, I really don't even remember exactly what the originals look like. I'll throw a picture up here, and then you can compare. I also feel like this is a very American snack, so to my international peeps, I apologize. Here's the big moment. This is the commercial shot. Ooh, don't fall. I think some of the red sprinkles have like dyed this a very faint pink, but oh well. Now just the cookies alone are really good. They got a good snap, a good crunch. They're a bit dry alone, but they have really good flavor. They're also not so grossly sweet as I'm sure the original Dunkaroos probably were. This frosting I can't place though. I don't know if it's because I now see how it's made and I'm judging the heck out of it. I feel like I do not remember it tasting this way. I don't know, and I added more sugar and it's still not frosting-y enough. Not terrible, but not my favorite. Maybe some things are discontinued for a reason. Now before I wrap this one up today, guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my friends over at Squarespace. Squarespace is a dynamic, all-in-one platform where you can claim a domain, build a website, sell online, and market your brand easier than ever before. In the past few weeks, I've highlighted their award-winning templates. You also gotta mention their top-of-the-line security, their enterprise-grade infrastructure, and their around-the-clock personalized customer service. If you have not yet clicked the link in the top line of the description, today is the day to get started on your own business and your own beautifully crafted website. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/David Seymour for 10% off your first purchase. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, slap a like on this one. Let's shoot for 5,500. I haven't put a like goal in a while. I got a new video for you either on Sunday or Monday. I haven't decided yet. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram for updates if you don't already. Other than that, have an awesome weekend. I will see you right back here next time. Peace.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my 18. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision.